Okay, so you dress up and everything, and you go out to eat dinner, and then you decide to go see a show with a friend. And you go to the box office, you scan your ticket, and instead of paying like $15 for a ticket, you end up paying like $12 on average or whatever. And then a team of ushers escort you to your seat. And instead of sitting in a dark room, just watching a projector projecting pretty much like TV, like on the wall, you're sitting there in a mysterious room with like a curtain in front of you. And then you end up watching the show, and instead of just watching actors on the screen, you're watching live performers actually trying to make a deeper connection with you there, and it's a more intimate experience. Today I'll be discussing with you the reasons why you should see live theater as opposed to just going to the movies or just watching TV. And I'll be reviewing with you the educational, cultural, and benefits and community support. Okay, so 2 weekends ago, I watched the school play Dogs, Hamlet, and Cahoots Macbeth, and I noticed that all the seats were full. And the show was sold out, and there was like literally only one seat available at the box office, like right there in that day. And it was a nice observation to see that the show sold out and that there's community involvement, being that people actually bought tickets to see the show. And in my own personal experience, like I have directed and I have acted in theater shows in my high school, and some of the shows didn't sell at all, and we only sold one ticket the entire performance, and it was very sad. And this relates to community involvement and support in theater, like by going to live theater shows, because you're a spectator, and instead of like you're getting more personal experience by going to a live theater show by watching a live show. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics has found that there are 69,400 acting jobs in 2015, and this number increased 10% from 2014. And like this shows that there is still a demand for live theater and that people are still going to shows. And like these jobs will only increase if we continue to go to see live theater. And also, Georgetown University has found that the unemployment rate for performing arts majors was at 6.4% in 2013, compared to 14.5% that same year for tech majors. So this shows that there is also still demand for actors and technicians in the theater industry. And that being said, we should support local actors, and it'll help keep this industry alive. And now I'll be discussing the cultural experience and appreciation of fine art culture. In my senior year of high school, I watched the play In the Heights, and I reviewed it also, and it was a very nice experience because it helped me understand like poverty more, and like it helped illustrate it to me a little bit more. And the play was about an ethnic enclave, a Latin American enclave in New York. And like it helped me understand more the struggle that normal people have to go through. And theater, like seeing live theater shows could also help you have a cultural understanding of like other people and stuff. For example, August Wilson is an African-American playwright, and he was very groundbreaking because he's very critically acclaimed, and he also he earned a Pulitzer Prize for one of his plays, and he's also been Tony Award nominated, and he has multiple Tony Awards for his plays. And his plays chronicle the struggles of the Black community. And like the fact that his plays resonate with audience shows, especially because he has a Broadway theater named after him. And this is a very big feat. And like it's only possible if there are audiences to support him. well, it was only possible because there were audiences for him. And seeing live theater shows also helps with appreciation for the arts. For example, in the New York Times, they wrote an article about whether or not theater is dying because of other media outlets, especially movies and television. So they, in the comment section, like they asked students to write whether or not they think that theater is dying or if it's still a resonating art form. And one student wrote that live actors have a larger challenge than those filming a movie, especially because like they can't really have makeovers or make dos for if they mess up a scene or anything, and the show must go on. And then she expresses her appreciation for that. And I totally agree with this because in my experience, I've had shows go wrong. And for example, my theater teacher in high school forgot his computer, and the play that I was directing was mainly like all technical based. So instead of having the audio recordings that we had to do, we had someone in the back use a microphone. And when I expressed to my mom that the show went wrong, she said that she couldn't tell at all. And like it was a very warming experience because like I worked really hard on this thing, and something went wrong and the show still went on. And it was also a good experience because there's an audience there to appreciate the work that I worked on. And theater is also a very educational experience, especially because, like I agree with this because I studied Shakespeare throughout high school and in junior high also. So I have a very like vast understanding about the plays, and I understand what Shakespeare is writing. And like most people can't really do that because like most people don't really study Shakespeare to the extent that I have. And like most young people, like they don't really understand what he's saying at all. So, and the University of Arkansas has studied that viewing live shows correlates with an increased knowledge of the story's plots and vocabulary compared to just reading the book or watching the movie. And the study sampled like 64 schools, and then those students watched either Shakespeare's Hamlet or Charles Dickinson's A Christmas Carol. And Hamlet is a very advanced play, and the students that watched the movie or just read the play, they didn't really understand the vocabulary and like the translation behind like what Shakespeare is writing. And compared to the children that actually watched the live show, they were able to understand what Shakespeare was saying because the live actors were able to convey more to the audience, especially in the more intimate setting. And the researchers have also found that viewing the live show led to more tolerance towards diversity and increased skills in reading other people's emotions. And in conclusion, I think that viewing live theater is something that people should do more often, and people should do live theater more often because of the reasons I explained to you. Like it's a more cultural experience, and it'll lead to like better understanding of other people and vocabulary, and it's also an educational experience. Thank you.
So Diva, do you want to offer a few comments?
I think the beginning was really good, how you kind of set up that preview of like, going, instead of going and sitting in a dark room with like a theater screen, that we could go and actually see people perform in front of us. And I thought it was nice how you included that, like, you paid $15 to go sit in a room, but we could see people for cheaper, like, in front of us acting something out. So I thought that was really cool. The only thing that I think, like, kind of got me a little distracted was I think you got really comfortable with saying and I think that was like your, like, as soon as you stopped talking, that was your transition into like what was coming next. And I think we all do that, to be honest, like that's just what we're comfortable saying. But I think like it became like us, like came, like you would stop and then even if you had nothing to say, you kind of said that. And I think that kind of like was like, okay, well now I can go back into what I was saying. So maybe like just like better transitions into things, but I think that was really good.
All right. I like the idea of the visualization that you have at the beginning. I just think that it needs to be a little bit more engaging. I think that probably some practice and some, energy level would help quite a bit, to kind of get it a little bit smoother and more sophisticated. Because I think it's a good idea to kind of go the direction that you're talking about there. That kind of brings in that visualization, a little bit of suspense, and then you kind of reveal what it is you're talking about. There's a little bit of satisfaction that comes from that. I really like that idea. But it just feels like it's undersold here, and you need to work it a little bit more. And I think as a, if you're a theater guy, you should be able to figure those things out. That should be one of those things that you can, push a little bit on. I thought your goal was clearly stated at the beginning, and there was a pretty good setup of the contents at the beginning of the speech. I don't think it stayed as structured as you had planned it to be at the beginning of the presentation. In fact, I felt like about halfway through, we were just wandering around a little bit. I did think that you found some good information in the presentation that talks about a variety of things, the importance of theater, for instance, to the culture, the importance of theater to the way people might perceive other humans and relate to them. I think those are important points. The one thing that stuck out at me like a sore thumb, I said, geez, I got to see this information. I got to look this up, is the unemployment rate of actors versus the unemployment, or performing arts majors versus the unemployment rate of STEM people. And I'm going, that sounds like completely the opposite of what is typically presented. And so as a result, I thought that made that a little bit more intriguing. Like I said, I think sometimes you lose the point of those pieces of information, and remember the point is to show that there is something out there that's thriving, that there's a benefit from that, and that you can actually do something about this, and put your butt in the seat and see what's going on there. And like I said, I think delivery needs a little bit more energy, that kind of thing. You finally stepped that 1 foot to the left here that made all the difference for the camera work. I was trying to adjust. I probably should just shove this thing over in the middle, but it's, I don't know. Like I said, I think people should be a little bit more involved and engaged in what they're doing and recognize, that's, I can't just stand in the one spot. All right, thank you.